I grabbed another one, and again, it is here for a 6-month check. These are routine, very common cases where a person has a cholesterol, or excuse me, not a cholesterol, a cardiac problem. So again, I'm going to go ahead and slide down to the bottom. Always like to work from the bottom up. And I see that our patient has sleep apnea, hypertension, and hypercholesterolemia. Okay, and then he not only listed what the diagnosis was, but actually tells you kind of what he's doing about it, or the status of it. Sleep apnea, using oral device as prescribed, so he's probably got a machine, a sleep apnea machine that he sleeps with. Hypertension, well controlled on above medication. Now, even though it says it's well controlled, he has to take medication or he would have hypertension, so that is definitely codable. And then same thing with his cholesterol. It's adequately controlled on the above medication, and then the plan is, everything's going to continue, and he wants to do an echo in the office visit in 6 months. So now I'm going to slide back up to the top, and I'm going to start looking. Our problem list, again, you don't code off of a problem list because it can be copied and pasted. And again, you want to follow your office or your company's guidelines about things like that, problem lists. But here we've got a person with a fib, but now he's made a point to say none since 2000 and something. So, so that tells me that I'm not going to code that. That they're saying no, he does not have it. And it's not that they're taking medication is the reason why they don't have it. He's saying that there's not been any reported. Hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and sleep apnea, and that they're using that oral device, the machine. And then I'm going to go down and look at these medications, and Cardizem. I know what all of these are, but I went ahead and wrote down what some of these are because if you're not familiar, you need to be familiar with the medications. And you can go to drugs.com, WebMD, there's all kinds. Just Google it and it'll probably tell you. Then I'm going to go to this history, the things that jump out at me. One, just because he had no palpitations doesn't mean it isn't addressed down there, because well, no, he didn't address it. So, in other words, the palpitations aren't something that we're going to worry about. Blood pressure, and that he is using his oral device as prescribed. So that constitutes the sleep apnea. Look, they did a lab for the cholesterol and the triglycerides, so now we know he's actively being treated. Again, they checked the blood pressure. Over here, look, nothing is wrong here with the cardiovascular. Scanned all of these, nothing jumps out at you, and you need to know these terms, BS time 4 quadrants, and you need to know what they mean. No carotid brutes. They're talking about the carotid arteries. The neck veins are flat, meaning they're not bulging out. That would indicate an issue with your blood pressure and stuff. So no murmurs, no clicks, no gallops. If you don't know what a murmur, a click, and a gallop sounds like, you can actually go to YouTube, and they have them, and you can hear them. It's really cool. Different type of breathing too. So we're stuck with, or I don't want to say stuck with, we're limited to, because I always want to code things, sleep apnea, hypertension, and the hypercholesterolemia. And so this person got a 99214 as well. The pure hypercholesteremia is 272.0, 401.9 for the hypertension, and sleep apnea 780.57. Those are very, very common codes, especially the first two, and you'll probably have them memorized. Even though you're not supposed to memorize codes, you really can't help it when you do them over and over. So what about those medications? What were they used for? Cardizem is used for hypertension. This metoprolol is low pressure, and you may see that advertised on TV. A blood pressure, a beta blocker, blood pressure medication. Now, what about this one that is like, I don't know what that medication was, and it actually is Tambicor, and it's for an irregular heartbeat rhythm, and Prevastin is for cholesterol. So again, those are the things that you need to be aware of when you're doing cardiology. You need to know medications pretty well. Don't worry if you don't know them very well yet, because it's very repetitions, and you can Google it or go to ilikedrugs.com.